Across the heart of America, something massive is tearing through farms, destroying crops and leaving chaos in its wake. Wild boars the size of small cars. These aren't just animals. They're unstoppable forces of nature that farmers are struggling to control. What happens when man's farmland turns into a battlefield against creatures this powerful? Stay tuned, because what we captured on camera will leave you stunned. Across the open plains of southern America, vast stretches of farmland tell a story most people never see. Beneath the calm, golden landscapes lies a daily struggle that few outside the countryside understand. These lands, which feed thousands, are constantly under threat from one of nature's most powerful and destructive animals, the wild boar. They dig through crops, topple fences, and destroy months of hard work in a single night. It's not a rare sight anymore. It's an escalating challenge that farmers face every season. And while it may appear harsh, these hunts are not a matter of sport. They're a matter of survival. When dusk falls, a small team of local hunters gathers at the edge of the farmland. Led by Mark Reynolds, a seasoned tracker with decades of experience, they prepare for another long night. Each member knows what's at stake: the safety of the crops, the protection of the livestock, and the stability of the community. The dogs are restless, already sensing the movement ahead. The wind shifts, carrying with it the faint musk of a wild boar herd. Without a word, the team begins to move, boots crunching softly over the dry earth, rifles slung low, eyes alert. The dogs suddenly tense, their ears pricking toward the tree line. Mark raises a hand, signaling silence. A shadow moves through the brush, massive, low, and fast. The dogs explode into motion, sprinting through the darkness. In seconds, chaos fills the field. The sound of heavy hooves pounding against the dirt mixes with sharp barks and human shouts. Through the flashlight beam, the first boar emerges, an enormous beast, muscles rippling beneath its dark hide, tusks gleaming. It turns with startling speed, charging straight through the undergrowth. The first shot cracks through the night. The animal stumbles, kicking up dust, but doesn't fall. A second shot follows, and this time it collapses. The hunters approach carefully. At nearly 600 pounds, it's one of the largest they've seen this season. But there's no celebration, just quiet focus. They know this is only one of many. As the night deepens, they press on, guided by fresh tracks and the steady rhythm of their dogs. Some nights, the hunts last until dawn, with teams covering miles of rough terrain. Each encounter brings a new challenge: smarter, faster animals that have adapted to human tactics. Wild boars learn quickly, and no two hunts ever unfold the same way. By sunrise, the landscape glows with a hazy orange hue. The fields bear the marks of another night's battle: broken stalks, churned up soil, and distant echoing calls from the remaining herds. The hunters return to their trucks, tired but determined. For them, it's not just about removing a threat. It's about maintaining a fragile balance between people and nature. Every successful mission means one less night of destroyed crops and frightened farmers. Later that week, another call comes from a nearby valley. A group of ranchers reports multiple cattle injured, fences ripped apart, and trails leading deep into the forest. The team sets out again, this time during daylight. The forest canopy filters sunlight into scattered beams, revealing deep tracks pressed into the soil. They follow cautiously, knowing how easily a startled boar can turn from prey to predator. Suddenly, from behind a cluster of bushes, a loud snort breaks the silence. The team freezes. Out steps a massive boar, its shoulders higher than a dog's back, eyes glinting with alertness. There's no time for hesitation. The hunters spread out, forming a semicircle. The dogs bark furiously, keeping distance but never backing off. The animal charges, crashing through branches, unstoppable for a moment. The ground shakes as it passes, A single well-aimed shot ends its run. Dust rises and settles slowly, and for a moment, all is quiet again. Mark lowers his rifle, taking a deep breath. He's seen hundreds of hunts, but each one reminds him how unpredictable nature can be. As the team examines the area, they find evidence of several more animals: tracks, droppings, and patches of torn ground. The numbers are growing faster than anyone expected. Wildlife officials estimate millions of wild boars now roam across the southern states, expanding their territory every year. Their ability to survive in any condition, reproduce rapidly, and feed on almost anything makes them one of the most resilient animals in the wild. For local farmers, that resilience translates into loss of money, time, and hope. By early winter, the hunts take on a different rhythm. Cold winds sweep across the plains, and the frozen ground makes tracking slightly easier. Footprints stay longer, clearer. But the cold brings its own challenges. The dogs move slower, breath misting in the air, while the hunters fight against numb fingers and icy triggers. In the distance, a group of wild boars gathers near a frozen pond, searching for food beneath the frost. The hunters move in carefully, keeping low. A single echo breaks the silence, one precise shot, followed by another. Within moments, the herd scatters, leaving behind one motionless figure. The stillness of the snow-covered field is broken only by the hunter's footsteps. Each successful hunt helps protect acres of farmland. Yet the hunters know this is a never-ending task. For every boar caught, several more roam free. Their numbers rise year after year, spreading northward into new regions. Despite advanced tracking systems, drones, and night vision equipment, it's a battle that can't be won with technology alone. What keeps these teams going is something simpler: the duty to safeguard the land that sustains their people. When the spring rains arrive, the landscape changes again. Grass grows fast, rivers swell, and the tracks become harder to follow. The hunts shift to the outskirts of small towns, where the animals now venture closer in search of food. Trash bins overturned, gardens destroyed. It's a new kind of challenge. The hunters adapt, coordinating with wildlife rangers to guide the herds away from populated zones. Sometimes, they use traps reinforced with steel gates, designed to capture entire groups alive. The goal isn't always elimination. It's control. As night falls one evening, Mark and his crew sit around a small campfire at the edge of the fields. The day's exhaustion shows on their faces, but so does quiet pride. They've protected hundreds of acres this month alone. The sound of crickets fills the air, interrupted occasionally by the distant howl of coyotes. Beyond the darkness lies the vast, unpredictable wilderness, the true home of the wild boar. Mark stares into the fire and nods silently. The balance they fight for is delicate, but worth every effort. Weeks later, a local farmer stops by to thank them. The crops are growing again, and the cattle graze peacefully under the open sky. It's a small victory, but a meaningful one. These are the moments that remind them why they do what they do. There are no cameras, no cheers, and no fame. Only the satisfaction of knowing their land stands safe another day. As the camera captures the final moments of the mission. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of red and gold. The hunters load their equipment, the dogs rest beside the trucks, and silence settles over the valley. In this quiet, the true purpose of their work becomes clear. It isn't about trophies or records, it's about coexistence. The wild boars will return, as they always do. But so will the hunters, ready once again to face them. The cycle continues, bound by respect for the land for life, and for the enduring challenge of keeping both in harmony. In the end, this is more than a hunt. It's a responsibility passed through generations, to protect, to preserve, and to endure. The wild boars may be strong, but the spirit of those who defend these lands is stronger. And as long as the sun rises over these fields, the watch will never end.